I had a plan for 2020, and that was to shock the world. So I'm about to shock the world, beat Linares, beat Luke Campbell, beat Gervonta Davis. Now I'm going to go after Devin.
Welcome to Jabs on Dazn. I'm Chris Mannix. Sergio, we are in week 3 now of quarantine. So what are your favorite fights to rewatch?
I am not watching any fights. I'm watching my 5-year-old boy and my 2-year-old daughter fight over Cheerios. I have no time for boxing right now, Chris.
I've got time. I've got time for Daniel Jacobs' brilliant performance against Sergio Mora in 2015 and his equally brilliant knockout of Sergio Mora in 2016.
I don't consider that a knockout. I got up every single time. I was on my feet. You never knocked me down, champ. You never knocked me down.
All right, let's throw some jabs. All right, Sergio, we'll get to Ryan Garcia in a minute, but I want to talk about the news of the day, and that is Billy Joe Saunders finding himself in hot water once again. The reigning super middleweight champion was suspended by the British Boxing Board of Control after posting a video of him hitting a heavy bag and describing it as how a man hits his wife if she's nagging too much during quarantine. Sergio, Billy Joe Saunders is tentatively scheduled to face Canelo Alvarez at some point when the coronavirus spread lifts. What's your reaction to his latest outbreak?
It's disgusting, and it's not the first time Saunders did something like this to disgust the public and his fans. I think the British Commission did the right thing. They should suspend him for doing something like that. I'm with that. And it's not the first time he's getting in trouble like this. Someone needs to take away the social media account of Saunders because he's just not good at that. And Canelo needs to move on. Everyone wants a trilogy. That's it. Move on. Go into the fall. Go into September. Triple G. Let's get it on.
Yeah, I'm with you that Canelo should walk away. And the British Boxing Board of Control, its suspension really doesn't have a lot of teeth when it comes to overseas fights. They can keep Billy Joe Saunders from fighting domestically, theoretically anyway, but they can't stop him from fighting in Las Vegas, which is where he would fight Canelo if that fight were to materialize. But Billy Joe Saunders, he keeps putting his foot in his own mouth, and he keeps being incredibly self-destructive. It was a couple of years ago, Sergio, that he was caught on tape offering a homeless woman crack cocaine in exchange for hitting a passerby. This time around, this is something that Billy Joe Saunders himself was okay with winding up on social media. This wasn't an off-the-cuff reference that was caught on a hot mic. This was something Billy Joe Saunders clearly planned and allowed to be posted on social media. So if Billy Joe Saunders wants to blame somebody, he only has to blame himself. And if I'm Canelo Alvarez, I think I'd be doing the right thing and punishing Billy Joe Saunders by walking away and forcing him out of a career-high payday.
Yeah, you punish him that way. You punish him with money and don't give him that opportunity for a mega fight, a fight that he's needed and has been asking for a long time. But Billy Joe Saunders is his worst enemy. And it's not only that homeless situation. Didn't he get in trouble for throwing a piece of chicken at Deontay Wilder as well, if my memory serves me right? He's just not good with social media. He's not good with promoting himself in a decent manner. And that's why he's hindering himself. He's his own worst enemy.
Yeah, Billy Joe Saunders, his mouth was part of the reason that he got this fight against Canelo. But there's a line, and Billy Joe Saunders has once again crossed it. All right, Sergio, let's talk about Ryan Garcia. Garcia has seen his star really rise over the past year. A knockout of Romero Duno in the first round, another first-round knockout of Francisco Fonseca that have a lot of people talking about Garcia. But as his star has risen, so too is his confidence. In a recent interview with Dazn, Garcia said, look, I'm not only going to beat Linares, I am going to knock him out, using an expletive in there as well. Sergio, is Ryan Garcia cocky or is he confident?
He's both. I mean, he's 20, he's young, he's charming, he's handsome. He's knocking out the toughest opponents today. He did that with Francisco Fonfara in 1 round. He did it with Romero Duno 1 round. I mean, this kid is rising and rising. No stop to them. And right now, humility doesn't pay the bills, especially in the social media era. So he needs that. He wants to bring the not only the charm, but that swag, that chip on his shoulder. As long as he doesn't turn into an a-hole or a prick, as long as he doesn't take a page off of your book, he'll be all right because he's charming with his cockiness. He's charming with it, and it's marketable, and right now he's selling.
Look, fighters, as you know, declare they're going to win fights by knockout all the time. So I have no problem with Garcia saying he's going to knock out Linares. And if Linares loses, Sergio, he tends to lose by knockout. All 5 of his losses have come by knockout. So it's not a bad prediction to make. My only concern is that Ryan Garcia might be taking Jorge Linares a little bit lightly. This is a guy, Linares, that every time he has lost, he has come back and won, and 3 of those times he has been able to regain a world championship. This is a 3-division world champion who is not to be taken lightly. I know Ryan Garcia is out there looking at bigger fights. He wants Luke Campbell. He wants Gervonta Davis. Eventually, he wants Devin Haney. That's great. I want to see Ryan Garcia in those fights, but you cannot take Jorge Linares lightly. He is still an established contender. He is still a guy with power, and he will be easily the most skilled opponent that Garcia will face. So he had better take Jorge Linares very seriously, or Ryan Garcia could be the one getting knocked out.
No, absolutely. And that's the gift and the curse of being a young stud, an up-and-coming fighter that's knocking out everybody, especially in the first round. You get that over-eagerness to want to continue doing it. But you don't do it versus 3-time world champions like Linares. Even though he does have a reputation of getting stopped, he also has a reputation of being a pound-for-pound overall one of the best boxers in the world at his time. And right now he's coming off of a really solid win as well. So he has the confidence going for him too. Both these guys are not only, they got the looks and the hooks. That's what I've been trademarking right there. Both of these guys, not only are they charming, not only are they good looking, but they're really, really violent inside the ring as well. And every great fighter, and Linares is a great boxer, every great boxer has one great performance left in them. Put that fight in LA, someone at Staples Center, in front of 18,000 people. There's no way an old lion like Linares doesn't stand up for that, for one more fight against this young stud that wants to take your place. If I was Ryan Garcia, yeah, I would do a little bit of talking, but I'll do more fighting right now.
Yeah, Garcia Linares is a tremendous fight. If they can make that fight happen this summer, it certainly will be the type of event that could sell out a building in Southern California, maybe even, like you said, the Staples Center. All right, let's talk about Devin Haney here, Sergio. Devin Haney has been widely viewed as maybe the most talented young fighter in all of boxing, a pound-for-pound prospect. But over the last year, he has been surpassed in some ways in terms of popularity by the likes of Ryan Garcia, by Gervonta Davis, by Teofimo Lopez. So, Sergio, as Devin Haney prepares to come back from an injury, how does he get his groove back?
Get his groove back? How has he lost it? I mean, you're losing it right now. I mean, have you been watching Angela Bassett movies during this quarantine? He hasn't lost anything. I mean, look, in his last fight, it was for a WBC title. He went the distance versus an undefeated fighter in Alfredo Santiago. He lost his groove there? Come on, man. Before that, he knocked out Zaur Abdullayev, another undefeated fighter, and he had a knockout of the year type candidate fight versus Antonio Moran. So, no, he hasn't lost his groove back. Stop watching these movies from the 90s, Chris, because this guy's the man, and his star is definitely rising and getting brighter. He's not getting outshined by Ryan Garcia or Devin or anyone else. I mean, Devin Haney's a real deal. He shines bright, and anytime he does anything that you see him outside, unlike Billy Joe Saunders, he's doing something right with social media. He's donating money. He's feeding the poor. He's doing the right thing. He's not following those footsteps. So maybe he's not as arrogant or cocky, but he has everything going for him to be the next great thing.
Of course he does. He's got all the talent in the world. But if you think he hasn't lost some of his shine, I don't know what you're watching. This is my problem with you, Sergio. You don't believe that style matters in building a superstar. Ryan Garcia wins his fights with incredible style. First round, spectacular knockouts. Teofimo Lopez knocking out Richard Comey spectacularly. That sent his star through the roof. Devin Haney is winning his fights, and technically some of them he is winning by knockout, but you don't look at that Zaur Abdullayev fight as being a spectacular star-rising performance. His last fight, great. His fighter was undefeated, but even Haney would admit that wasn't a great performance. He needs more fights like the Antonio Moran fight. You need a spectacular knockout of the year contender to catch up to those types of fighters. That's what puts you into the mainstream. I don't understand you. You think all these fighters like Haney, Demetrius Andrade, they can just keep winning and they don't need spectacular knockouts. Of course they need spectacular knockouts. That's what makes superstars.
Not on the championship level. It gets harder and harder to knock out fighters that know how to fight. I mean, on the come up, on the way up, yes, you're knocking out everyone they put in front of you because they're not elite. Once you start fighting the fighters that are just as hungry as you, unblemished and unbeaten, I mean, they don't know what it is to lose. So they're up there fighting for a world title, whether it's Abdullayev or Santiago. These guys never lost, and to get a world championship fight in front of them, in front of people, televised and all that, they're going to rise to the occasion. It's not easy to get knockouts once you start fighting the better opposition. That's just the way it is.
Being undefeated, like, who cares? I understand it means you haven't lost before.
Fighters
but
care.
I've said this to you time and again. I've said this to you time and again, Sergio. What matters is who you face. Give me the guy that's lost to 3 high-level opponents and has 3 losses on his resume versus the undefeated fighter who has never fought that type of opponent all day long. That's a bigger test, a tougher test than some of the guys these young fighters are facing.
Look, if you're a matchmaker, a promoter, or a fan, I agree with you. Yes, those are the tougher fighters, the Orlando Salitos in the world. These are the guys that are going to actually shock the world and beat young up-and-comers. But if you're the fighter, if you're the coach, if you're the trainer, if you're part of that team, that family, that triangle that's been rising to the top together, you know that's what's going to give you problems. You're not going to put them in front of that because matchmaking is a science, and this is a sweet science to get to the top, get there, market yourself, make the most money you can. You don't do it just to please guys like Chris Mannix. You do it to please yourself. And right now, Devin Haney, even though he didn't get the stoppage in his last fight, he got a beautiful stoppage with Antonio Mora 2 fights ago. He was able to stop Abdullayev. So you're not going to get a knockout streak like that. I mean, he's not Julian Jackson, for God's sake. Not everyone has that Ernie Shavers type power. Right now, Devin Haney is maybe 1 knockout away from making it a salivating type fight. Ryan Garcia is doing everything he needs to do. Yes, Devin Haney needs maybe an impressive performance. And the more he knocks out guys, the more zeros he's going to get on his check. But as far as skill-wise here, Devin Haney is a little bit above Ryan Garcia. Even though Ryan Garcia is getting those knockouts, Devin Haney, pound for pound, I think skill-wise has an edge. And he has a belt over Ryan Garcia, a WBC green, beautiful belt at that.
All right. I don't care about belts. I don't even care about skills in this conversation, though I am going to look at some spectacular performances right now when I go back and rewatch Daniel Jacobs knocking out you.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.